ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh, yeah. No.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
So, it's just another Monday here where I am, but I understand for you guys, is it back to school time, or are your kids back to school? Or are you back to the back to school paperwork that fills your kitchen table? What's going on there school-wise?
My kids haven't started yet. They do have a couple more weeks off, but the online registration process has been completed, which actually I did a couple weeks ago. They started nagging us to do that. And then, but this is the stupid part. You could do all the forms and stuff, and you could actually do it all electronically. But then, you couldn't pay. There's fees, there's like a, $50 annual school fee, whatever. You couldn't pay that at the same time that you did your registration. They're like, that will be available starting, I think it was August 1st or whatever. So I went in recently and paid all that stuff. And the thing is, okay, it's nice, definitely, to be able to do it online, and get that taken care of. And then you still have to go in person to school and have a registration day where they hand out the schedules and take the kids' pictures for their ID and stuff. But you have to decide now all the activities your kids are going to do and pay for them. So,
that is ridiculous.
Yeah, your middle school drama fee, and if your kid wanted to play even a spring sport in high school, you should know that now and check it off and pay it. So I find that kind of crazy, but yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Then if your kid doesn't get a good part in the show, do you get your money back?
No. I mean, I suppose you could try to get your money back if they didn't participate at all. But if they tried out and they were given a part, I think you paid still.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow. So you're kind of preemptively paying, and then if the kid changes their mind, you're hoping that you'll get your money back.
Yeah. Yeah. And
this is going to be a lot of pressure on the kids. I already paid for this. You have to do it.
Yeah. It's not a lot. I think it was $30 for the middle school.
Yeah.
Play. So, what's $30 when I'm spending double that on ice skate coaching,
I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but that's the extent of our back to school thus far.
Just the money so far, none of the education.
And how about you, Nicole?
Yeah, no, today is Kristen's first day of her senior year. So it's a big morning, and of course that comes with all its complications in terms of getting out the door.
See also last week's podcast.
Yes, exactly. So it's exciting. My husband and I are just trying to dig up a first day of kindergarten photo to share because some of our friends are swapping them on the group message here, our kid's first day of kindergarten, because she went through school with about 5 other girls that she still keeps in contact with. So it's kind of fun to see. And it's going to be a big year for her. And, I think she made it to school in time. So that was a plus. That was the main goal of the morning. So, and in my attempt to get her ready for college this year, she's responsible for her own lunches and her breakfast and packing all her stuff, and I am not helping at all. Well, I say that now, but ask me, next week how things are going. So
it's exciting
day.
Yeah. Now, do you have to pay a ton of fees ahead of time? Do you have to pay the graduation robe fee now and
No, thankfully. I mean, we pay a fee that covers their yearbook and their activities, so they'll be able to get into football games for half price, and and they get their they'll be able to get their varsity or JV letters if they play a sport, and there's a few other things that kind of go along with it, a t-shirt, like nobody wears, but so we pay for that, and then the fees just roll in throughout the year, especially being senior year. I remember with Josh, it was definitely a constant.
They kept on coming back for more.
Yeah, so big day in our house.
Yeah, this seems so early to be going back to school.
Oh, I know.
When do your kids go, Catherine?
Not until after Labor Day.
Yeah, that's when ours start too.
They start on as close as they can possibly get to September 1st. So, like last year, I think September 1st was the Thursday before Labor Day, and they still made that the first day of school, which was just
oh my God,
dumb. But but this year it comes after. So
ours is usually this the second week of August, and it was 107 yesterday.
Oh man!
So I anticipate it'll be the same today. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
it just seems like it should be summer vacation. This time of year. But then they got out real early too, right? I know
they have like longer time breaks, don't they, Nicole?
Yeah, I mean, like we have 3 weeks in December and 2 weeks in March.
Right.
So, and then a week, of course, for Thanksgiving. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have any of those things,
But I mean, I would rather start later.
Right.
For summer than
not
have like
them.
3 weeks of Christmas.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
I would think as a teacher too, that's a long time for the kids to be out of the classroom, and then you got to give another week or two for them to get back into school brain after.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of time.
All right. Well, should we dive into
Let's go ahead and do that.
Business at hand, which is to welcome you to Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, and complaining about right now. I'm Catherine Haleko, and with me today are Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
And Terri Morrow.
Hi there.
Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about kids' TV on our speed round, shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup, and do some shameless self-promotion. But first, we're asking, especially Nicole with your senior, do you miss having little kids?
Oh my goodness.
We saw an article titled Why I Don't Miss Having Younger Kids on Scary Mommy. And, I'm listening to all this school talk, and it's been, how long has it been since my son graduated? My kid's been out of school for a while. So it's like I've lost all touch with that. It's put away. It's in boxes under the bed. One day we'll go through, but it's sort of out of my head now. So I guess, I'm thinking about why I don't miss younger kids in terms of like kids who were in high school. But I think the article was talking about, when people get nostalgic, like Nicole, you were saying, putting the picture of your kid at the beginning of school, now when they're getting the end of school. Do we have those emotional times of going, oh, I remember, I wish I could go back there? Or do we say, thank goodness that's done? So how are you guys feeling? You must be feeling particularly nostalgic for the old days now, Nicole. Or are you looking forward eagerly to not having to take care of people?
Well, that's tough because in all honesty, I was not a baby person. Like If I went back and did it again, I probably would have more patience and enjoy being in the moment. But the baby years, I really struggled with my kids. My husband spent a lot of time away from home with his work, and I was also working part-time. And then, my kids did not sleep. So it was a struggle. And so I feel like, if I had another experience, I might miss the early years, but I don't miss that period of time in particular with them. I think I miss more of their toddler years. Like, my kids were pretty easygoing as toddlers. They wouldn't, they had their moments, of course, but I feel like I had more present moments with them where I really sort of was in the moment and enjoyed the time with them and have like, fond memories of certain, I mean, I have fond memories in general, but I just remember the baby years with them being a real struggle and, in a lot of ways. So yeah, I have to be honest and say that it was not my favorite time. It was not my favorite part of their childhood. So you
don't look back longingly, huh?
Yeah, there were some highlights, but I wouldn't say that it was, when I look back in those years, all I can think about was, carrying the baby carrier around, baby car seat around, and getting the stroller out of the car, and then, getting the groceries. And I just remember that it was just such a struggle. Waking up like 5-6 times a night and, super sleep deprived and trying to get through work the next day. So, yeah, I don't.
Uh-huh.
Is that bad? Am I being a bad mom?
You're good with where you're at,
I'm pretty good with where I'm at. I think if I had to, like I said, I think if I had to look back and if there is a time where I do feel wistful about it, would be they're kind of like ages 3 and 4 and 5. That was probably, kind of like a highlight in their younger years. So I don't know. Yeah. Does that make me a bad mother? Somebody?
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the parent of your kids now. That's a good thing. How about you, Catherine? Do you look through the old photo albums and go, those were the days?
No, I don't think I really do that. Although in the article, it struck me that she said, have I ever wanted to go back for one day and relive one day?
Uh-huh.
And she said, no way. And that I could do. I would definitely want to go back to one day and just experience that again. Notice I didn't say one night, but one day, just when they're tiny and they're just so funny. I think when kids are learning to talk, I just love that stage, and it's, the stuff they say. And,
if you're going to go back for one day, do you get the day?
Can it please be a day where they were not having a tantrum or, sick or
not that day?
Yeah. I mean, I do love babies and my kids didn't sleep either. So, that was definitely hard, but I did enjoy, I think, when they were small, and especially when my daughter was a baby, and she's my older one, so she was the only one, and I had a really good work situation where I got a pretty good long maternity leave, and then I got to work part-time for quite a while, and then I got to work from home after that for a couple days a week. So it was a really good balance of having time with her, but also not, being able to go and, do my job and see people and be out in the world and, but also have, a nice amount of time with her. So that was, I just think about she went to this childcare center that was several blocks away from where we lived, and I would walk her there in the morning, and then in the afternoon we would walk home. And, when she was around a year old or so, she would want to walk instead of being a stroller, and we would just amble down the street and take 45 minutes to get home, because we had to stop and look at things and talk to people and look in windows and all that stuff. And that was very cute. That was fun.
That sounds nice.
So, and I'm sure it wasn't like that. A lot of days I was like, oh my God, can we just go?
Yes.
But I do remember some of the days like that where it was very sweet. And, when my son was a baby, he was just a funny little fun kid, from the beginning, even though he also did not sleep at all. So, yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't say I miss it like where I'm all the time going like, oh, that was so sweet. I wish I was back. But, I definitely look back fondly and,
right.
it's not something I'm, that I hated and I'm not.
Yeah. I think it's kind of a false separation. Like you're either somebody who is constantly looking back and going, oh, I remember when my kids were younger. I wish I was back there. And never ever looking back at all. I think most of us overlap. And I think that the people who don't overlap are writing freelance articles for websites. And I have done that thing. I can write this article from this angle. This is the easiest angle to write it from. I'm going to write it. So, it's kind of like our question, our speed round last week about what age would you like to go back? We can all think of ages where we liked things about ourselves and parts of our lives were really good. And that, it's tempting to think of having this quality from that time or going back to that experience and or being, physically younger or mentally younger, but it doesn't necessarily mean we would want to go back there. We wouldn't want to lose what we have now. So, I think it's okay to look back when your kids were little and feel nostalgic and to say in a jokey way when you're talking to your friends or when you're on social media, oh boy, look at my little kid when they were 5 and now they're 25 and they've got the hair and the tattoos and I wish we could go back to when she was so young and sweet. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We all do that. But, I didn't have the baby stage because my daughter was 4.5 years old when we adopted her and my son was almost 2. So he still was, developmentally delayed. So he was kind of babyish, but he wasn't newborn. And, it was kind of a different set of problems. But we did have some good times when they were little. And I do, look back nostalgically on that, but we have some good times now. Right. So I'm there's just all sorts of various times during their upbringing when I think, oh, I wish I could go back to that for a little while, like you were saying, Catherine. If I could just go back to that day for a little while, I would like that. And then there are days looking back where I think, oh my gosh, that was the worst time ever. I would never want to go back to that. So I do so much second guessing. I do so much revisiting of old decisions that it's like I'm in all different time frames all the time. So
in your head,
I'm just constantly living in the past going, yes, why did I say that thing? Why did I do that thing? What would we be like now if I had done that differently? So it would probably be healthy for me to pick a lane. But I don't know. Little kids are so cute and they're so nice. And sometimes you can get them to do what they want you to do in a way that you can't with young adults. And that's appealing. And, I think of some of the times when, we're going to get into this in our speed round in a minute, but how nice it was to sit with my kids and watch stupid kiddie TV shows. And, it was the only time my daughter would ever sit on my lap is when we were watching them. And my son would snuggle down next to me and we would have this wonderful together time that we never had any other time. And I don't get that anymore. Right. So I would take one of those. Every now and then I'd like to just go back in time and have one of those. But probably if I was actually there, I would recall that it was not that pleasant. So,
well, just that there's a lot of nostalgia that goes along with it.
Yes. My arm would fall asleep and I wouldn't be able to move it. And that probably was but yes. And then there was all the nonsense that was going on with school and with, social things. And I would be plunged back into that set of worries and long for my current set of worries, possibly. I don't want to revisit any of those old worries. Though I do.
Though you do revisit them anyway.
Well, maybe...
This topic's getting me down, man. Let's go back to that gentler time, shall we?
Yeah. And actually, one of the things that I do look upon fondly, and this is, our next topic, is what are there any TV shows that your kids used to watch and maybe you would watch to or half watch as you tried to catch a nap on the couch while they watched their TV show? Yeah, there's a few that I remember fondly that
I do kind of miss that stuff. We had whole lineups. I think it was the PBS Kids lineup because it would be like Arthur and Zoom and the big comfy couch.
Oh my gosh.
And there were some other ones that we used to watch all the time. And just, what was the ones that Gilbert Gottfried played a little robot or something? They're in outer space and there's the bad guy. Somebody remind me what that was called.
I don't know.
That one.
Oh gosh, my kids are. I'll have to text one of my kids. I'll get back to you. But and it was just we would just really just sit and watch all of these things, and I enjoyed them. You know, we would watch Sesame Street some too. But my kids were always, you know, the nice thing about developmental delays is that they're comfortable watching those little kid things for a really long time. When their peers are graduating to things that are less parent friendly,
right?
They're still wanting to watch Arthur was so great. I loved Arthur. I could just sack out in front. And you could just, you know, like I said, we would just lay on our bed together and watch this stuff. It was lovely. Cyber Chase is the name of it.
Is that what it was?
I'm thinking of. Yes.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it was to Motherboard.
Oh,
was the
I
name,
remember that.
They would respond to things out in cyberspace. There was like the bad guy had some computery name. I can't think of it, but he would try to screw things up, and then the kids would go fix it. And I think we watched Scooby-Doo some too. That was speaking of kids going and fixing things, but I miss all of that stuff. I would watch that again. Rugrats, I think we watched.
Cool. That.
And then we had some videos. Like we had, I still have these videos and they probably don't work anymore, but there was a video that I think it was maybe some sort of PBS special of Robin Williams and dolphins. He went out and was learning things about dolphins and doing things with dolphins. And it was just the sweetest thing, you know, and it was him in just, you know, funny but sweet mode. And we watched that over and over again. That was a favorite. And then we had other various videos we watched. I could spend a day just sitting on the couch watching that by myself with my son going, "You're embarrassing me." Now I hear him in his room watching things that sound like Rugrats or Arthur. And then they'll start saying things that I know are not appropriate for that. And he's like watching YouTube videos of these old kids shows. But every now and then he hits on one that somebody has done like a R-rated or X-rated version of, just because there are people in the world who think that's hysterical. And I'm like, skip to the next one. Though maybe that's what he's looking for. I don't know. But how about you guys? Did you watch kids TV with your kids, or did you just park them in front of it so that you could go do something else?
No, when my daughter was very little, like under 2, and I was still in that mode of like, oh my gosh, she shouldn't watch TV, you know. But then she started waking up at like 5 a.m, no matter what we did. And, you know, go to bed early, go to bed late, let her cry, nothing worked. And, but what did work is bringing her into the living room, turning on PBS Kids, and then blocking it up, you know, having her contained in this area. And then she would play with her toys. She wouldn't pay a whole lot of attention to the TV. But then whichever parent was on duty could sleep during these shows. But it only worked if the TV was on. And that was like, The Bear in the Big Blue House, which I think is the name of that show.
I think so.
And Blue's Clues and
Blue's Clues. I forgot that one.
Some other ones. And like I said, I would be asleep during it. And we would, you know, measure time by which show was on. Like, oh yeah, I slept all the way through Bear in the Big Blue House and the next one. That was a good morning. But then later on, much later, we loved watching Phineas and Ferb together on the Disney Channel, which Terri and I actually one time watched for round 2 because that show was just so cute and funny. So that was like all 4 of us would share that. So
fun. How about you, Nicole? Did you allow your kids to watch that stuff, or do you have objections?
Yes. I was a big believer in having some TV time. It helped with their independence and
parent respite also.
Yes, and so my son, his first video, oh my gosh, he loved. It was a Mother Goose nursery rhyme video, and it was like the poorest quality you could imagine, and they were puppets, and it was like this like Mother Goose puppet that would come on and say, "Well, hello, children," in this really creepy voice, and then it went on to like have all these animated nursery rhymes. My son loved it. He was like maybe a year old. And so my husband and I often joke about that. And I actually found a clip of it on YouTube a couple months ago and sent it to him. Because we used to be able to, it was like 20 minutes long. We used to be able to nap because we would put him in his exerciser. Because he was like, actually it was probably under a year. How bad is that? And we'd put him in the exerciser, and then we would, lie on the couch right behind him and then try and catch 20 minutes. But
Yeah.
But later on, definitely like Barney was a favorite, and what else? Like who were the two guys at Kratz Creature?
Oh yeah, the Krat brothers.
Yeah,
those are good.
Yeah, and with my daughter, it was like Max and Ruby. Oh, my son was Caillou too.
Yeah,
Caillou. It's kind of creepy, but
Caillou's father, who says yes to everything and makes the rest of us look bad.
Yeah.
You got to ask yourself, why is his kid bald?
Right, at the age
there are
of like
so many
6.
questions. There's so many questions with these kids shows
that resulted in that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And I mean, Max and Ruby didn't have parents. It was like the sister raising the brother. It was all, there was a lot
but they let you take a little nap, so it's all good.
It's all good. So I do miss some of the little TV shows that they would watch. So they bought me time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Much needed time. And I'm forever grateful.
My friends make fun of me because I always swore that no kid of mine would ever watch Barney. And then, it was probably a matter of weeks, if not days, before that dinosaur was my best friend.
Right.
It makes them stop. They stop and watch it.
Yeah.
And I can collapse.
Yep.
Did they ever have Bananas in Pajamas? Did you guys ever see that one?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't think we watched it.
We really had it.
Yeah, it was an Australian show.
Yeah.
And
it's possibly before and or after our time.
That was another kooky show too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
But it was fun watching keeping track of the kids on Barney and the kids on Zoom and watching them grow up and feeling like I kind of knew them. And every now and then one of them will pop up in something and they'll say they were on Barney or they were on Zoom. And it's like, oh yeah, that kid. Yeah. But those were good times.
Well, have you ever seen Demi Lovato's picture on when she was on Barney?
Was she on Barney?
Wow.
Yeah, she was one of the little kids on Barney. That's where she got her start.
Yeah. I saw her in Sunny with a Chance because that's my daughter watched that. But oh, these kids. Even the ones on TV grow up. You can feel nostalgic for when they were tiny and cute.
Yes, and remember, you can hear a new speed round every Wednesday through Friday. Hi, we hope you're enjoying this episode of Parenting Roundabout. We're not one of those podcasts that's trying to sell you websites or mattresses or meal kits. I mean, we totally would, but no one's asked us yet.
There is, however, something you can do that costs you nothing, but will put a little change in our pockets. Listen to our podcast on the Radio Public app. Download the app to your iPhone or Android device and listen to Parenting Roundabout there, and we'll get paid for each listen. Plus a little more if you listen a lot.
We think you'll enjoy listening to all your podcasts on this app, but if you could at least listen to Parenting Roundabout there, we'd be very grateful. Now, back to the episode.
And now we bring you some of the things we've read or seen or used recently that we want to shout out and share with you. Nicole, I see yours on the document, which is funny, so go ahead.
Tell us about that, Nicole.
Yeah, so I inexplicably sent a Facebook reminder through, what was Messenger Facebook reminder.
Yeah.
yesterday to my esteemed colleagues, and I don't know
Freaked
how
us
I
the
did
heck
it.
out.
It
Are we
freaked
doing
everybody
something?
out.
What's happening?
Yep. It was like, what's
What did
going
I
on?
forget?
And I don't know how it happened. And, but it definitely, it's a good tool to have if you want to use it and if you need to use it. I didn't need to use it particularly at that time.
It's a good prank to play on your friends. Set up a reminder.
There you go.
And then they'll get it and go, what did I forget? What am I supposed to be doing?
What's yours, Terri?
Yeah. So,
And then you can just say, oops, did I set that? Well, I think I've talked on here about how I sort of like the Pomodoro technique of time management, which is like 25 minutes of focus, and then you get a 5-minute break. And then you go back to the 25 minutes of focus. When I do it conscientiously, it works for me really well. And so, as is our way these days, I guess, I am constantly on the lookout for a Pomodoro app that will keep me doing it. That will, I'm slipping, but if I had the right app, I would focus. So I had one on my phone that I think I talked about before, and I've been trying different ones on my laptop, and currently I have settled on one called Focus To Do, which is a Pomodoro timer and a to-do list kind of combined, so you can, put what you're supposed to be doing during that 25 minutes of focus and supposedly focus on it. And I'm sure I will use it faithfully for a few weeks, and then I will be looking for something else. But right at the moment, I will give a shout out to Focus To Do, which I am, for this 25-minute segment, liking very much.
Very good.
If anybody else has a good Pomodoro app that you've used, hit me up on Twitter, at Momitude. I would be interested in hearing about things that people have used, preferably free. This one is free for $3.99. You can get the premier version, which does extra stuff, but I usually don't hang on to them long enough to want to pay for it. I move on to the next. So we'll see. Maybe this one will get $4 out of me.
That should be a speed round we're going to do. Apps that you actually paid for. Like apps that you find are worth the 99 cents or whatever.
That's right.
That you paid for the upgrade.
Maybe a short conversation.
Well, I'll just mention for my roundup, there's a service called Free Conference Call that I just happened to participate in a call yesterday, and it was from my daughter's skating team, and the coach needed to talk to all the parents, and they just set up this free conference call, which I've used in other contexts before, and it works pretty well. You just sign up, and they give you a phone number they give you a dial-in number, and they give you a like a PIN number, to send out to everyone who needs to call in, and you call in and it works and it's free. So
that's cool. Is that the one we used to record the podcast on?
I don't think so.
Didn't we used to record the podcast on something like that?
I thought we just did Blog Talk Radio. I don't remember.
No, after Blog Talk Radio, but before Skype, there was something, but I don't think it was that one.
I think so.
It was something conference,
right.
But
so this one's just, I believe it's just called freeconferencecall.com or something, but I'll get the link to it. And it's just handy because, if for non-business contexts where you find yourself needing something like that, it works well.
And it works well for people who don't know how to do stuff like that and will have a high degree of anxiety of having to call in for a group conversation.
Yeah, it's just like a regular phone call. So I was careful to mute myself immediately so I didn't say anything stupid. But anyway, so yeah.
You have your podcast habits now down.
Exactly.
Okay, and now for our final segment today, we're going to do a little shameless self-promotion and direct you to some things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. Speaking of focus, one of the things I'm trying to focus on is writing a post on my blog, Parenting Isn't Pretty, once a week. This is my new plan. Usually I try to do it once a day, and then I just never do it. So now I'm going to try to see if once a week works. It sounds okay, and I'm going to use you fine podcast listeners as my pressure to do this, because if I announce here that there is a new post, then I have to write a new post. So it may not be much of a new post. It may look like I wrote it, in the half hour after the podcast came out because, I said I was having a new post. But there will be a new post on Parenting Isn't Pretty on Monday, probably. Catherine, what do you got this week?
I have another new piece that highlights, and it is called, the URL is Having Friends Boosts Kids' Well-Being. So it's a couple of research studies about kids and friendship, and we're talking about elementary school age kids here. So that is new over at Highlights.
All right. How about you, Nicole?
Yeah, I did a little kind of excerpt on inclusive education for Brookes Publishing, which they put into their annual inclusion calendar,
Nice.
which they just put out, I think, yesterday or the day before. And you can download the calendar at the Brookes Inclusion Lab, and I will have the link available. And it's really, it's lovely. It's very nice. It's a very visual calendar with lots of information about inclusion. So,
and didn't
they
I
did a
see
great job.
that Amanda is on there too?
Amanda is, yes, she is in there too. Yeah, she's got a cute picture of her son in there, and yeah, it's a really very, very well done calendar. So
Nice. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Parenting Roundabout. We hope you enjoyed it and that you'll join us every week. You can listen to podcast episodes on Radio Public or download them from Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe so that you get all of our podcasts and mini podcasts.
you can also follow us on Twitter, where I am at Nicole Erdix, Catherine is at C. Haleko, and Terri is at Momitude. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Roundabout Chat, and look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram too.
Best of all, stop by our podcast page at parentingroundabout.com and read recaps, find links on everything we've mentioned, and talk back in the comments. Thanks to John Morin at johnjmorin.com for providing our in and out music. And I wish everyone a great week.